Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. I'm really excited to bring this new Elden Ring series to the channel, and today we are starting with the top 5 best intelligence weapons in Elden Ring. Real quick, guys, if anybody is in the market, I built my own line of PCs with Apex Gaming. You can actually buy these PCs up front, or you can finance them if you don't have all the cash right now. Just don't forget to use my code COLD to save you $250 on your brand new PC. There's going to be a link in the description below. So after testing many intelligence weapons in Elden Ring, I narrowed it down to 5 weapons that I believe are the absolute best in slot options for an intelligence build. The first weapon on our list, and keep in mind this is in no particular order, is the Royal Greatsword, a very powerful colossal sword that's actually obtained from completing the Blade and Ronnie quest line. If you want a more in-depth guide, please check the description below. I have links for every single weapon in this video. You can see here that the Royal Greatsword scales evenly with strength and intelligence. We are currently level 250 using this build. Our strength is at 65 and our intelligence is at 87. This is going to contribute to our overall physical and magic attack power. This weapon has a unique skill called Wolf's Assault. Infuse the Greatsword with frost, then perform a forward somersault to plunge it into the ground. Then pull it out to release a cold blast. Honestly, my favorite part about this weapon skill is the somersault. There has been countless times where I was actually able to dodge an attack and immediately destroy my target. Also, depending on the enemies you are fighting, most of the enemies in Elden Ring are going to be staggered by this attack, which means not only can you continue to spam this skill, but it's going to leave your opponent defenseless. In addition to everything we already mentioned, we also have frost buildup on this weapon. Frost is effective against most of the enemies in the game, which is just another added bonus to this already amazing colossal sword. The cold blast that happens at the very end of the attack actually has a pretty decent radius. Let me tell you guys, it is destructive. If you ever find yourself in tight situations where you can't find a way out, trust me when I say the Wolf's Assault skill is extremely reliable. If you would like to create a character that focuses primarily on strength and intelligence, the Royal Greatsword is going to be an amazing option. The next weapon on our list, which is actually one of my personal favorites, is the Fallingstar Beast Jaw. The Gravity Bolt weapon skill is the primary reason why this is one of the best intelligence weapons in Elden Ring. Imbue the jaw of the Fallingstar Beast with gravitational lightning, sending a bolt crashing down a short distance away, can be fired in rapid succession. You can see here I'm level 250. My primary attributes, we have strength, dexterity at 65, and intelligence at 87. This is going to contribute to our overall physical and magic attack power. One other thing to note, this colossal weapon actually has the same strength and dexterity scaling. I personally recommend going with strength just because you need at least 34 strength to equip this weapon. You might as well continue to go further, and your overall strength will contribute to your physical attack power. The location of the Fallingstar Beast Jaw weapon is in a large crater on top of Mount Gelmir near the 9th campsite. Within the crater, you will fight a full-grown Fallingstar Beast. Keep in mind the boss must be defeated to obtain this powerful colossal weapon. The Gravity Bolt weapon skill is extremely simplistic, and this may be a reason why some people choose to not use this weapon. It's very easy to use, it's extremely reliable, very consistent, and some people prefer an easy way to play Elden Ring, and others like a different approach. But personally, I highly recommend using this weapon. This is easily one of the best colossal weapons in the game, one of the best choices for a strength and intelligence build in my personal opinion. I honestly have to say the best thing about the Gravity Bolt weapon skill on the Fallingstar Beast Jaw is how fast it destroys your enemy's poise. This will give you the opportunity to land a critical hit, which means a lot of damage. You also have to admit this weapon does look pretty cool, and honestly, out of the top 5 intelligence weapons on this list, this is my personal favorite. This next weapon on our list is easily one of the most popular weapons in Elden Ring, It works incredibly well with dexterity intelligence builds. The weapon I'm referring to is the Moonveil Katana. Now, it's probably no surprise to you that the Moonveil Katana made the top 5 list, but honestly guys, the Moonveil is such an incredible weapon. The Moonveil Katana carried me through my entire first playthrough of Elden Ring. The Transient Moonlight skill is the main reason why people love this weapon so much. Transient Moonlight actually has 2 separate attacks, one light and the other heavy. If timed correctly, each of these can be equally as destructive on pretty much every single enemy in Elden Ring. Katanas in general in Elden Ring are very satisfying to use, and it's another reason why I love the Moonveil so much. For anyone that just started the game recently and is looking for a great intelligence weapon to pretty much carry you through the entire game, the Moonveil is going to be an amazing option. One of the best things about this weapon, it's very easy to obtain and you can get it pretty early on in the game. Once you open up the map, there is going to be a dungeon located on the western part of Caelid. The name of this dungeon is called the Gale Cave, and once you defeat the boss at the very end, you will be rewarded with one of the best intelligence weapons in Elden Ring. You can see here we are level 250, and with 65 dexterity and 87 intelligence, this is going to bring our physical attack power to 178 plus 157, as well as magic damage 213 plus 222. This weapon's attribute scaling heavily favors intelligence and dexterity, which means these are the 2 primary attributes you want to focus on if you want to use this weapon. We also get that added bonus of the 50 blood loss buildup, which just makes this weapon even better. The higher you increase your intelligence, the more damage the Transient Moonlight skill will do to your targets. Increasing your dexterity over time will increase your overall raw damage with your basic attacks. Out of all the weapons on our list today, I guarantee you that most people will always prefer the Moonveil Katana, and the main reason for that is because the Moonveil has such quick high damage attacks. I mean, pretty much every weapon in this game that has fast attacks that do a lot of damage that can be timed effectively, they will almost always be the best option. The 4th weapon on our list, which I'm pretty sure has been in most of the From Software games, is the Dark Moon Greatsword. In Elden Ring specifically, it's an amazing option for intelligence builds. What I like most about Greatswords in particular, they're very versatile, they do a lot of damage, and some of the best weapons in the game are in the Greatsword category. For example, we have the Dark Moon Greatsword, and also the Blasphemous Blade for faith builds. I seriously recommend getting this weapon as soon as you possibly can. You have to finish Ranni's quest line. As soon as you finish it, you will be rewarded with this incredible greatsword. Just like every other weapon on this list, this one also has a unique skill called the Moonlight Greatsword. Raise the sword aloft, bathing it in the light of the dark moon, temporarily increasing magic attack power, and imbues the blade with frost. Charged attacks release blasts of moonlight. Aside from the fact that this weapon looks incredibly cool when it's glowing, it does do a lot of damage, physical and magic damage. And if you haven't noticed already, this weapon also causes frost buildup, which, like I mentioned earlier in the video, is effective against most of the enemies in Elden Ring. At level 250 with 65 strength and dexterity, along with 87 intelligence, you can see here our physical attack power is 200 plus 142. But check out that magic damage, guys. 240 plus 292 magic attack power. The Dark Moon Greatsword scales evenly with both strength and dexterity, so whichever route you choose, this weapon is going to benefit from it. We also have B tier attribute scaling for intelligence, which is the main reason why our magic attack power is so high. And like I mentioned, we have 55 frost buildup. I have to mention, I was not a big fan of the Dark Moon Greatsword up until patch 1.05. I found that the weapon was very inconsistent. It felt like even though I was locked onto the enemy, sometimes the Moonlight Greatsword skill wasn't able to hit the target. Most of the time, the weapon skill just wouldn't register. I am happy to announce that they did finally fix this issue, and I'm enjoying this weapon a lot more. And I definitely think, especially after patch 1.05, the Dark Moon Greatsword deserves a spot on this list. The last weapon on our list today is the Death Poker. Now, I know it may not seem obvious at first glance, but the Death Poker is actually a greatsword. In fact, it's a really good greatsword with an incredible weapon skill. Similar to the Dark Moon Greatsword, the Death Poker also causes frost buildup. This greatsword has a unique skill called the Ghost Flame Ignition. Thrust out the barbed rod and set its tip alight with Ghost Flame. Follow up with a normal attack to set the ground ablaze with Ghost Flame, or a strong attack to trigger a massive explosion. At level 250 with 65 strength and dexterity along with 87 intelligence, your physical and magic attack power could look something like this. We have 283 plus 326 physical attack power, along with 82 plus 27 magic damage. You can see below that the Death Poker scales evenly with both strength and dexterity, and as I mentioned, we have 65 frost buildup. Finding the Death Poker itself is pretty straightforward. It's in an easily accessible area in Caelid. In the southern part of Caelid, you will eventually stumble upon a site of grace called the Southern Swamp Bank. Go just a little bit further below and you will run into a mini boss. At this exact location, you will actually fight the Deathrite Bird. Now, this mini boss is pretty annoying to fight, but once you defeat it, you will be rewarded with the Death Poker Greatsword. The Death Poker is extremely effective and it's reliable in most situations. Now, the only downside to this greatsword is the range. You have to be pretty close to your target in order to use the Ghost Flame Ignition ability, but if you manage to get close enough, you can pretty much destroy anything that's surrounding you. I feel like a lot of people are going to enjoy this weapon because it deals damage over time, and this works especially well on bosses. This means depending on your opponent's HP, you can kill them with just one single attack. That DPS over time is great. It's going to save you in a lot of situations, and the heavy attack on this weapon has a large enough radius to kill everything around you. Well guys, this concludes our top 5 intelligence weapons to use in Elden Ring. Trust me when I say I have tested many intelligence weapons in this game, and in my personal opinion, these are the top 5 best in slot options for an intelligence build. Thank you all so much for all the support on the channel. If you found this video helpful in any way, shape, or form, please leave a thumbs up. I would appreciate it a lot. Also, if you want to see more Elden Ring videos just like this one in the near future, be sure to subscribe to the channel, become a part of the family, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.